All right, Oval fans, let's talk about Season 6, Episode 9, Between Two Fires. Now, I know I didn't do a trailer breakdown. It wasn't brought to my attention until yesterday that a trailer was actually released because I never got my hands on a 15 or 30-second promo. But whatever. I thought the episode was okay. I don't think it was as good as episodes 7 and 8. However, there were a few elements that I felt, really gave the episode a little more oomph. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, mainly due to like Tosha's stories, acting, Nancy's, just complete breakdown in this episode was incredible. I enjoyed the scene between Hunter and Priscilla talking in the kitchen, and Eli shutting Victoria down was amazing to see. So, before moving forward in the review, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Follow me on social media, links are in the description below. Hit the bell icon and select all, that way you're up to date whenever I post content on the channel. And please hit subscribe. So, we pretty much pick up with Kyle and Donald just shocked at Sam, Eli, and Simone catching them in the act of getting busy in the Oval Office on the desk. Eli sends Sam away to go get him a suit. Simone is trying to grill Donald and Kyle for their behavior, but Eli tells Donald to beat it. And, the more Simone tries to go in on Donald, the more Eli doesn't want to hear, saying like, look, Simone, you need to go because that's not a priority right now, what they just did. We need to focus on, getting back at Hunter for what he did to me and Victoria. So she goes to get somebody to come clean this mess up. Thank goodness. But even Donald, is trying to apologize, but Eli yet again says, look, we have bigger fish to fry right now. So we need to come up with a plan so we can end this right now. Also, something to, just illustrate how serious the situation is I noticed the rope burns on, Eli's neck, man. That's yikes. And from there, you could tell Eli is trusting Donald because even though Victoria said not to, keep in mind, Donald was responsible for saving them because he explained, like, the moment I got the phone call from Hunter in the Oval, I knew something was wrong, but you were in there too long. So that's why Donald has earned Eli's trust, even though he was caught doing something completely reprehensible at his boss's desk. He did still save his life. Now, after that, we go over to Richard and Nancy's house, and Sharon wakes up after having like a bad dream about Barry. Then Dale comes in and just tries to explain how things are going. It's like it's crazy around here. She can't bring herself to comprehend Nancy, doing what she's doing and how she's been treating her. But Dale tries to say, well, look, she's been through a lot. She's lost her son. Her husband wants a divorce. Mr. Richard doesn't really want a divorce. And I'm thinking, Sharon, you were gone for like a couple of days. Trust him. Well, then again, I understand because she's known these two for so long, but it's crazy that Sharon being away for a couple of days is the equivalent of, like, let's say you miss school because you're sick, and then on your sick day there's like a surprise field trip, or there's 3 fights or something like that. That's pretty much where Sharon is right now. You've been there a while, but you just don't know what's been happening the past couple of days, and if you did, that Richard was serious. And I think by the end of the episode, she gets the memo. But yeah, they overhear the commotion downstairs, and they just see that Nancy is throwing around pictures and, vases and just, like glass statues and whatnot. She's just tearing the house apart. And she's seemingly feeling the guilt of everything she's done coming back on her. Between Barry and falling in love with her husband's father, even though she didn't want to. So it's almost like she's coming to grips with things. Now, tearing the house apart is one thing, but this comes after you blame Richard for, it's like, I want to get him for everything. Yep. But now it's like she's finally feeling guilt. So this wouldn't be so bad had she not burned up his stuff and took all the money from the accounts. So I guess you could say it's the 5 stages of grief, but yeah, she's just wilding. And all the while, Sharon is trying to, be somewhat helpful emotionally, but she's not with it. And, she just decides to sit in this mess. And Dale's like, well, if there's any consolation, my life is a mess now too. Ain't no time for this, Dale. And Sharon's like, yeah, Dale. And I'm thinking like, Dale, just get in that car and leave. You don't need to be around this anymore. Just let this woman sit in her mess. You just don't. I don't even think he has anything to pack up. All he has is like the clothes on his back. Take those car keys and get out. Just get out. But no, we later see in the White House, Sam goes to talk with Richard and, just to check in on him with everything going on. And Richard tells Sam about how Nancy burned his clothes and drained all the money from his accounts. And it's like, man, she on that Priscilla shit. It's like, yeah, I don't even know her anymore. It's like, I can't understand why she's doing this. And you know what? Going to do to her what I did to my father. Richard, don't do that. And I guess, I don't know if Richard gets a photo or something or video footage. Maybe there's some security cameras in the house, but or something. I don't know. He gets like a ding on his phone and he just sees that she started wrecking and burning pictures of him and Barry and like his medals from the war and everything. And I'm like, this woman has gone too far. And this man is just having a breakdown. But Sam's like, look, when I finish doing what I'm doing around here, I will go to the house and check on Nancy for you. And he's just freaking out. So, yeah, Nancy, this is crazy. Now, from there, we go over to Simone. She goes to talk with Alan to ask about, the chief of staff's wife, Lily. Obviously wants to tell her about the whole situation of, I caught your husband and Kyle getting freaky in the Oval Office. So, she hasn't left the building yet, and Agent Kane stops her so she can sign out, and she demands a car to go home. But Simone stops by, and before they can step to the side and talk, Kyle tries to stop him, but Simone puts her foot down, and as soon as Kyle backs off, that's when Lily's like, okay, I'll go with you. This conversation really doesn't go anywhere. Essentially, Max and Bobby are out in the hallway, and they see these two go into one of the offices or rooms, and they just have a conversation. So Simone is confronted by Lily about, sleeping with Bobby. She denies it. Then she asks about, what's the situation between you and Donald? It's like, do you know about him and Kyle? Like they were getting on in the Oval. And Lily's like, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't messing around. My life is better because of Donald. In terms of, if I leave him right now, everything I work for is going to be destroyed. And from there, she mentions the whole thing about, so how long has your husband been messing around with Victoria? What? I don't know what you're talking about. And given the fact that for the second time, Lily knows she is lying, she realizes this conversation is going nowhere and there's no need to continue. So she gets up and leaves. Now, remember, she is drunk. So she goes out of the office and walks up to Bobby and kind of, just tries to press up on him. And Mac's like, so do you need a car, ma'am? Yeah, I got a car lined up. Should be outside. I want Bobby to take me home. And Bobby's like, he's not doing that. So whose do you want more, huh? Is it Simone's or Priscilla's or somebody else? And she's just getting all up in his face. And he makes it like, well, look, you didn't leave your husband, so we had nothing to talk about. And she just opts to leave because, she's just stumbling around. You know what? I think I will stick around the White House because I want to figure out what's going on. So then Max calls Alonzo to get on her. That way, there's no funny business going on, because given the state of the White House right now, it is not the time for Lily to be poking her nose somewhere she doesn't need to be. So Alonzo gets on Lily as she's trying to go to the residency for some dumb reason. Let her go up there. She'll just get shot and then put her out of her misery, because at this point, like, what purpose does she serve? So Victoria comes out because Alonzo stops Lily, and she's like, oh, I'm actually here to talk to Victoria because she wanted one of my dresses. Like, no, I don't. I sure as hell don't want one of your dresses. So she just goes in on Victoria for being, B word, and just goes in about how, you still got that funky attitude and whatnot. And like, yeah, try one of my dresses. The last time you wore one, they sold out. And, Victoria being Victoria is disregarding everything she's saying. She doesn't care. So she doesn't have time for this. So Lily is sent on her way. and she's stumbling somewhere else. I don't know where she's going. But after that, we get, let's see here. Oh yeah, Victoria is trying to go up to the dang residency next, but Alonzo won't let her. So then he calls for backup, and Sam comes to stop her. And it's funny because earlier in the episode, we got Hunter and Priscilla in the kitchen, and remember, this is a follow-up from the last episode where he asked her to make him a sandwich, and they discuss everything going on, like how he's a victim of circumstance, dealing with the situation that Victoria and Jason put him in, and she finally gets Hunter to admit that Jason killed Jean, but it was Victoria that covered it up, and from there, he's just in awe that Donald is gay when Priscilla says he is, and he's like, wait, what? Wow, I'm a terrible judge of character. But then it's insane to think about because he does want to talk with Donald, invite him up to the residency so they can talk real quick. And Priscilla rightfully refuses to make Jason a sandwich. So from there, he does continue to flirt with her, and look, Priscilla, you're playing this game, but he's joking like, I'm eventually going to wear you down, right? Huh? But no, she better watch out, because at some point he's going to push up on her and she's going to be in trouble. But then we flip over to the Sam and Victoria scene where Victoria wants to go there. It's like, look, I'm the only one that can calm him down, because given the fact that he's not on drugs right now, because I would always put some in his coat that would make him black out. That's the only thing that kept him, sluggish. And that's why he's lashing out right now, since he doesn't have those drugs in his system to calm him down. Which goes back to a point I was making with somebody I was talking to last week about this. That's why Hunter is throwing Victoria off her game, because she's used to Hunter being, playboy, dopehead. But the fact that he's more competent than she gives him credit for is why she's just so, tilted right now. She's not on balance because Hunter is out of control because she can't control him. Now, Priscilla comes down from the residency and taunts Victoria because, like, wait, how are you able to go up there as you please? Oh, he trusts me. And I want to go up there. Well, you'll get shot. I don't care. There has to be something I can do. But where are you going right now? I'm going to talk with the president. Well, I'm going with you. Well, yeah, you can follow me. Victoria doesn't follow anybody, honey. Well, what about Sam, huh? You follow me after him? So they both just leave. They go to talk with Eli, and this leads to one of my favorite bits of the episode. So Victoria, Eli, Priscilla, and Donald are all in the Oval talking. And I love how Eli shuts down Victoria, because every time somebody is trying to say something constructive, she just has to interrupt with a slick comment. And Eli is not having it. So it gets to the point where he goes off on her and tells her to leave. It's like, wait, I can't believe you're talking to me like this. Fine. So after she leaves, we have Donald receiving the request from Priscilla that Hunter would like to speak with him upstairs. So he agrees to go up there. And as they're going, Kyle stops and is like, I'm going with you. And Priscilla's like, look, if you go up there, it ain't going to go too good. He just wants to see Donald. So, Donald pulls his lover to the side and says, hey, I'll be careful. So then they both leave. And then Max kind of mocks Kyle because like, oh, you're worried about your boo-boo? That was actually pretty slick, because usually Kyle's the one making snarky remarks to him, but now he's the one been out of shape. So after that, this episode, that's why I didn't score that high, because it was okay. It was okay, but it wasn't anything stellar. Nancy is just still sitting in the mess that, she made, and when Sharon tries to get Dale to clean it up with her, Nancy's like, leave it. Richard comes in and then just jumps in there to choke her, and that's pretty much the episode in itself. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.